Hello, Gemini. If you're hearing these words right now, maybe your heart is tired too, like you've been strong for the whole world for far too long, while no one truly sees what's happening inside you. But pause for a moment, just a moment, because today, the universe has something to say just for you, a message not meant to warn you, but to set you free. This isn't a story about loss. It's a journey of rebirth, a path where you'll realize that what once looked like an ending was only clearing the way for something sacred, something higher, to arrive. Now, take a deep breath. Feel the rhythm of your own heartbeat, and let me guide you into a story that your soul has been waiting to hear for a very, very long time. Take a deep breath, Gemini. In the stillness between your inhales and exhales, you'll start to feel something subtle, taking shape as if even the air knows. That today is the day you begin to set down what has grown too heavy to carry. Maybe you've walked through too many storms, carrying silent memories, unspoken words, and the kind of faith that's grown thin with time. You might still believe that if you just tried a little harder, everything could go back to how it once was. But Gemini, not everything is meant to be held onto, just to prove that it mattered. Some things are only beautiful when you let them drift away. Softly, like petals falling onto the surface of a river, and the water keeps moving, never looking back. You've spent a long time living in that fragile space between hope and reality, between love and exhaustion. But what the universe wants you to know is this: letting go isn't failure. It's an act of courage. When you release what's slipping away, you're not losing anything, you're simply returning what no longer belongs to your path. Maybe right now, your heart trembles at the thought of emptiness, but that space you fear is where the light enters. Sometimes loss is just the temporary shape of a gift, the way darkness exists, only to help us understand the value of dawn. And soon you'll see. Beneath all the sorrow, there's still something gentle, a small flame that never went out, waiting patiently for your return. Life doesn't ask you to be strong all the time, Gemini. It only asks that you be honest with your feelings. Allow yourself to cry, to breathe, to begin again. When you close your eyes, imagine every breath as a soft wind sweeping through your soul, clearing away the dust of all those old years. That breath carries the scent of freedom, of a quiet beginning, deep enough to change the rhythm of your heart. Within that silence, there's a voice, faint but certain, the voice of your soul, calling you to step into a new space where time slows down and everything starts to heal. Don't be afraid when familiar sounds fade. Don't be afraid when the face you once loved becomes only a memory. Because when one door closes, it isn't the end. It's the first breath of another chapter. And as your next breath flows through, you'll sense it, a door, just barely open. A space where light slips through the cracks, soft and warm. It doesn't call out loudly. It invites you with stillness. And somewhere beyond that light, something is waiting. Not an ending, but the quiet beginning of your healing. Some lessons in life don't arrive through happiness. They come in the moment we're forced to let go. Gemini, you once loved with everything you had. You believed that with enough patience, love would find its way back. But not every beautiful thing is meant to stay. Sometimes the most honorable act you can offer a relationship is to let it dissolve into time, like a bead of dew returning to the sky. You've lived too long in the world of giving, understanding, waiting, so long that you forgot your own heart needs tending too. Sometimes someone's leaving isn't because they're unkind, but because their soul has finished its role in your journey. Everyone arrives carrying a lesson, and when that lesson is complete, they must move on so you can keep growing. Letting go doesn't mean cutting off. It's the understanding that everything moves in cycles. When you pause, you'll see it clearly. What leaves never truly disappears. It changes form, into memory, into light, into strength, so you can learn how to love yourself better. This separation isn't punishment, it's the universe's gentle hand, guiding you away from the place where light no longer reaches. And maybe, in the quiet of night, you'll notice something strange. Even pain has a warmth to it. Inside it lives your growth, a message that your soul has traveled far enough to release what no longer needs holding. When a door closes, the universe doesn't steal from you. It simply clears a space for what is better and on its way. Where you thought it ended is actually a beginning, a new road where your heart gets lighter, your energy returns to you, and you stop searching for someone to complete you, because you're finally returning to the wholeness that's been yours all along. Now, in this soft hush, listen closely, Gemini. There's a whisper inviting you to take one more step, light as a breeze on your shoulder. Another sky is opening ahead, and there, something wondrous is waiting to be seen. There are nights, Gemini, when you wake in the silence and feel something faint moving inside your chest, as if someone, somewhere far away, is quietly calling your name. They're still there, lingering in a layer of memory that hasn't fully closed, where their eyes still flicker in your dreams, where their breath still brushes your shoulder when the wind passes by. But what you feel now isn't living love anymore. It's the echo of a song that has already faded. They still remember, but they no longer know how to find their way back. They're lost in their own maze between pride and fear, between words left unsaid and chances already gone. You can still sense it, that invisible thread connecting two souls. Each time your heart tightens, each time an old memory suddenly returns, it isn't random, it's the final breath of a bond quietly untying itself. The universe never cuts things abruptly. It lets them fade piece by piece so we can learn acceptance. The recurring dreams, the mirrored numbers you keep seeing, the song that plays at just the right moment, they're all part of the gentle language of dissolving. Like autumn teaching us that even falling leaves have their own grace. You may still hear their voice echoing in your heart, Gemini, but you don't need to follow it anymore. Time doesn't ask you to forget. It asks you to forgive and to understand. Because sometimes love doesn't vanish, it simply changes form, becoming a lesson, a quiet blessing whispered for someone far away. In this unseen world, certain threads exist only as long as we hold them. When you stop pulling, when you let silence do its work, the thread fades not with a snap, but with relief. And it's in that moment, if you listen closely, you'll hear another whisper, soft yet clear. Trust what's coming. It isn't a promise. It's an invitation, a gentle door opening, where your eyes turn away from the past and begin to notice the light that's already waiting ahead. When you finally start to let go, Gemini, the world around you shifts quietly, almost imperceptibly, not with loud thunder or sudden change, but through subtle movements, soft as a breath of wind. One morning, you'll wake and notice the sky looks clearer. The light slipping through the window feels different, and your heart no longer twists when you think of what's gone. Everything happens so gently, as if the universe itself is walking on tiptoe, careful not to wake you from the dream of peace you've long waited for. In that stillness, signs begin to appear, a number repeating on the clock, an old song playing the moment you think of someone, a dream that leaves you waking in quiet calm. These are messages from the light, small whispers only souls at peace can hear. They tell you healing has begun, that the light is returning not like lightning tearing through the dark, but like the warmth of morning sun spreading softly into every corner of your heart. And maybe, for the first time in a long while, you feel enough patience, enough strength, enough love to stand alone without feeling lonely. The old wounds are still there, but instead of hurting, they begin to glow, as if every crack is being filled with a gentle light called forgiveness. Forgiveness not just for those who hurt you, but for yourself, the one who tried so hard to be strong, the one who once believed being vulnerable was wrong. You no longer need anyone to prove your worth. Love is no longer something you chase, it's something you radiate. In every small kindness, in every quiet choice to stay calm instead of angry, that's how healing shows itself. And it's in the moment you stop trying to return to who you were before that you finally begin the journey of becoming who you're meant to be. Imagine now a door made of light opening before you. Behind it lies a garden where the air forever smells of new blossoms, where time slows down so you can hear your own heartbeat again. Each step you take is a blessing from the universe, a silent smile from the unseen souls who've watched over you all along. No one asks you to be strong anymore. Just be real. Just move with the quiet rhythm of your own spirit. And when you finally touch that doorway, the air beyond feels different, warmer, brighter, more at peace. It's a space where memory and hope can live side by side without hurting each other. There, Gemini, you'll understand something simple yet profound. Healing isn't about forgetting, it's remembering without pain. The wind shifts again, carrying the scent of something new. A faint sound stirs, like a voice calling from deep within your soul. It doesn't rush you, it simply invites. A new journey is beginning, one that will lead you not only to peace, but to the light quietly waiting for you on the horizon. Rebirth isn't about starting over, Gemini. It's what happens when you step out of the dark with eyes that have seen through everything, and a heart once broken that now beats to a slower, truer rhythm. Those two words, rebirth, are not just a declaration. They're a doorway opening from within, a moment when your soul rises after the rain, soaked yet glistening like dew on the edge of a leaf. When you whisper, "I choose to be reborn," you're not asking the universe for permission, you're commanding it. Because in the voice of someone who has been broken, there lives a power that only experience can create. Each time you speak those words, the old energy begins to clear, the heavy thoughts, the unseen chords, the memories you thought had become part of your skin. They start to dissolve like smoke. And in that space between endings and beginnings, the first light of your true self is born. Rebirth happens when you stop looking back at what hurt you and begin to look toward what helps you grow. When you no longer ask, "Why did they leave?" but instead ask, "What will I do with the love still left inside me?" You realize no one ever arrives to complete you. They come to awaken what you've forgotten. And when the lesson ends, you're given the gift to move forward, lighter, clearer, freer. Imagine, Gemini, if pain were a shell, then within it, a pearl has been quietly forming all along. Each time you forgive, each time you breathe instead of react, each time you smile, even with the cracks still visible, that is the moment you are reborn. No rituals, no miracles, just one decision, not to live yesterday again. Rebirth also means living with gratitude. You thank the one who left for showing you who you truly are. You thank the long nights for teaching you how to keep yourself warm. You even thank the loneliness because it made you hear the voice of your own soul, the voice that never stopped calling you home. And now, as your breath grows lighter and your gaze becomes deeper, you'll understand. Rebirth isn't about escaping the past, it's about becoming larger than it. And as you learn to walk again, barefoot on cool earth, you'll notice somewhere in the wind a new scent, faint but alive, a quiet signal that something is beginning to bloom. No need to rush, just keep walking. Because every step you take now is proof that you've already been reborn. Light doesn't arrive like a storm, Gemini. It returns in its own quiet way, slowly, gently, like dawn slipping through the window after a long night of rain. You won't notice it right away. But one morning, you'll wake up, place a hand over your heart, and feel that it's no longer heavy. A new warmth begins to spread, not from the world outside, but from deep within you, from the place where the light once dimmed, now softly coming back to life. The universe always works in silence, rearranging the details of your life in ways the mind can't quite grasp. The one who once hurt you is now just a distant memory. Old dreams fade like watercolor washed away by the tide, and in their place, A new energy begins to move as light as a breeze, yet carrying the quiet knowing that something good is coming. Someone new is preparing to walk into your story not to replace what was lost, but to help you write the next chapter of light. They will come with calm in their eyes and with a listening heart that does not judge. And you'll see when you stop searching, love finds its own way to your door. It doesn't explode like fireworks. It glows steady, like the soft flame of a lamp, just bright enough to warm you, just steady enough to guide you home. Because true love isn't about who arrives, but about who you've become when they do. Gemini, light isn't only joy, it's awareness. It's knowing that every shadow that once made you tremble had a purpose. It trained your eyes to recognize what is truly precious. When the light returns, it doesn't erase the dark. It stands beside it, a quiet reminder that you've survived. From here, you'll find yourself smiling more easily. You'll say thank you more often, not because life is perfect, but because you're learning to see beauty even in the broken pieces. This light doesn't come from miracles, but from every moment you chose kindness over anger, movement over stagnation, forgiveness over bitterness. Now, as you step outside, let the sunlight touch your skin. Let the wind whisper to you the words your soul has been longing to hear. You have already walked through the darkest part, and now you are the light you were searching for. In that sacred pause, a strange stillness fills the air, as if the universe itself is holding its breath, waiting for you to take that next quiet step. And somewhere in the wind, there's a voice, soft, steady, almost holy, no longer calling from the past, but gently inviting you toward what's divine, toward the new chapter that's already waiting for you to begin. A message from heaven doesn't arrive with thunder or miracles, Gemini. It comes like a warm breath brushing against your heart, gently stopping you in the middle of life's rush just long enough for you to realize that everything broken was never meaningless. Every tear you shed, every lonely night, every quiet moment you forced yourself to stand back up was part of a sacred ceremony your soul agreed to long before you came into this world. This isn't punishment, it's a baptism of light. Because only a heart that has tasted loss can truly understand love. The love the universe speaks of no longer wears the face of someone outside you. It lives in your breath, in the rhythm of your heartbeat, in the gentle way you touch the world with kindness. When you stop begging to be loved, when you no longer need someone to tell you that you're enough, that's when real love finally appears. Gemini, you've spent years chasing the image of happiness, a hand to hold, a promise to keep, a peaceful home at the end of the road. But happiness was never waiting there. It has always been right where you stand, waiting for you to simply look up. Heaven isn't above you. It's within every moment of gratitude, every time you choose light instead of darkness. Now, you're shifting from one who waits to one who is free. Freedom not because you've lost someone, but because you've found yourself again. From heartbreak, you've learned how to stand tall. From pain, you've learned how to love without chains. That is love at a higher level, a love that doesn't need to be possessed, only expressed. And when you live with that kind of energy, everything around you begins to change. Old wounds turn into light. Old prayers return not as cries for help, but as whispers of gratitude. Because you finally understand the greatest thing in life isn't to be loved, but to become the source of love itself. And in that gentle silence, Gemini, you'll hear a faint sound not from the world outside, but from deep within your soul. It's a quiet invitation, calling you forward. No more carrying the weight of the past, no more fear of the dark. Only a heart, now pure and open, ready to receive what is sacred, a place where every loss has turned into light. After every storm, the earth always carries a scent of its own, the smell of damp soil, of life quietly coming back after all that seemed broken. Gemini, you're the same. You've just weathered a storm of the soul, and now, in the calm that follows, you begin to hear the small sounds of life returning your heartbeat, slowing, steadying, and within each pulse, something sacred begins to stir again. Take another breath. Feel the air filling your chest, cool and clean, like the universe is blessing you just for being here. Let every cell in your body know you are safe now. You've walked through loss without losing yourself. You've learned to love without needing to own. You've learned to trust without needing proof. And that, Gemini, is the true blessing, the grace of a soul that has matured. Now, when you look back, you might realize that everything that once made you cry, everything that once broke you open, was preparing you for this very moment, the moment you can finally smile and say, I have lived, and I understand. Because healing isn't just about mending, it's about being grateful for the wounds that taught you how to see the light. So, Gemini, thank life not just for the joy, but for the moments that felt unfair. Thank those who left, for they led you back to yourself. Thank the long nights, for they taught you how to cherish the sunrise. And most of all, thank yourself because even in your exhaustion, you never stopped believing in the good. Now, whisper softly, as if speaking to the universe. I release with love. I choose rebirth. I welcome peace. Because what lies ahead isn't emptiness, it's a new dawn, where the first light of day touches your skin, warm and pure like forgiveness itself. There, Gemini, you are no longer the one who fell, but the one who rose carrying within you all the gentleness that no storm could ever take away. And as that light spreads, smile. Thank the universe. Thank yourself. And thank everyone who stayed until this final moment. Because if you're here, it means you, too, are walking your own path of rebirth. I wish you quiet nights, clear mornings, and a heart light enough to hear the whisper of the miraculous. Thank you for sharing this journey. And until we meet again, may you step into another chapter of light, where the story continues in the shape of a brand new dawn.